Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Ripple Effect Podcast. I'm your boy Quattro,
I'm Diesel.
and we're here with some exciting topics today. So let's dive in and let's create some ripples. Our topics today are anger management, how to avoid crashing out and ruining your life. Topic number two, group economics. How do you expand the lifespan of a dollar in your community? And topic number three, family structures. Which is best to raise kids in? Some interesting topics. Let's dive in. Topic one, how to avoid crashing out and ruining your life. Too many people let emotions run the show and end up making life altering mistakes, whether it's reacting without thinking, assuming others value you the way you value yourself, or expecting things you never communicated. These habits set you up for failure. Today, we're breaking down how to control your emotions, avoid self sabotage, and keep yourself from making choices that could cost you everything. Let's dive in.
Oh yeah. Um,
Anger management.
yeah, man. That's a good one.
Ooh, that's a great one because I think we all have to deal with managing our anger to some degree, right?
I mean,
I know I do.
yeah, anger. It's a human condition.
Yeah.
Technically, it is spawned from our desire to survive. However, again, going back to last week's episode or the week we talked about stress, it's just still about us understanding the difference between perceived threats and challenges compared to real threats and challenges.
Right.
I think that's really the biggest difference to help us when it comes to that anger management, because a lot of anger comes from sometimes just us, like you said, just perceiving something that ain't even happened.
Yeah,
But
it's
just
usually a miscommunication.
yeah, it's just
It's
perception.
9 times out of 10. Like you perceive that someone says something, and their intent was to hurt you, embarrass you, degrade you,
Right.
or humiliate you, or outshine you, or there's a litany of emotions that we could choose to be offended by.
Exactly.
But what I've learned through life, being offended is a choice. You
Yeah.
have to choose to be offended, and if you don't buy in or feed in or succumb to that feeling or emotion,
hmm
you're winning. I mean, you can't give no one else power over you. You have to always have power and control. I think they was talking about Donald Trump, and they were saying how Donald Trump should be more like a politician, just a little bit. But then his response to that was like, "No, I'm who I am. I'm not a politician. That's what makes me different. So I'm going to control and stay in control of who I am and how I operate.
hmm
And there's no need for me to change and alter and give you the power to, manipulate me because now I'm acting in a vein I don't really know that I'm really not 100% 10 toes down in.
hmm
So now when you're absolutely not in your true essence, that's when you can be manipulated, you could be
Right.
fooled,
Right. Right.
you could
Right.
be, led astray, bamboozled, whatever the case may be. You know, I think you had a video that was saying about how giving your power
Yeah.
away
Yeah.
is like not the way to go. So should we roll it?
Hey, let's go roll
Yeah,
that clip.
we're gonna roll this clip.
Once I realized that anger is literally giving control to somebody else, I was like, that's never going to happen again. Never going to happen again, because I don't like people having control over me. I don't like people telling me what to do. If someone or something angers you, that means whatever they did, you gave them power. You gave them the power to control your emotions. When you allow someone or something to control your emotions, you are giving them power and you are now reacting. I want to maintain control and power and respond. And so when I figured that piece out, it changed my life.
I mean, he said it best, right?
Yeah. To his point, again, when we get angry, and that is our reaction, we aren't able to control ourselves, whether something happened or didn't happen, whether it was perceived or real.
Hmm.
We forfeit our power, as you said.
Yeah.
And that's what and that's what people don't understand about anger and why it's important to have good anger management, because you don't want to forfeit your power, because as you just said, it opens you up to being exploited more.
Yeah, and then it opens you up for regret and remorse because 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, you're going to say something that you going to regret later.
Right.
You saying something that you don't mean, and you're saying something that's going to escalate the non-essential problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a problem because what you said.
Right.
Because I'm the type of person. You put a line in the sand, I'm stepping over the line. Hey, you putting lines, I'm stepping over. So once I step that line or cross the line, now we potentially have a real problem. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be able to control yourself and understand that you are in control of your emotions at
Right.
all times.
Right.
Or
And
you
that's
should be.
well, to your point, but just even acknowledging the sense of having self-control comes with you already making a decision to be self-governing, and that's the part that, from my point of view, is what's missing. People lack that sense of self-restraint, and as an adult looking back, growing up on my understanding of religion, now I understand why religion was there, because that was the self-restraint mechanism in a sense. Because again, back in the day, that was how they kept you. I mean, because remember, shame was big back in the day.
Yeah, that's how.
Being certain behaviors were always trimmed back by you'll be hit with some religious text in some shape, form, or fashion. So now when I think back, I'm like, okay, like I understand the purpose, but it's still something that, as an adult now, okay, if you just make a decision to be self-governing and show self-restraint, then you ain't got to worry about nobody trying to levy their perception of your lack or not doing something on you, because again, you already responsible.
Because you want
So they have no reason, right?
Yeah.
Because you in control, right?
And also, to the flip side of it, there's some negative effects of anger on your body as
Oh
well.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I seen this video and the guy was just breaking it down. The reason why we tend to, like, when you are angry, did you ever realize how long you're angry? Like how long it festers? Like you're tense. You keep reliving that same what they said. I know that motherfucker ain't just called me this, or I know
Yeah.
this motherfucker
That
ain't beat my
cycle.
mother. Like it just keep playing
That anger
over and
cycle.
over. Your brain get foggy. You can't see through. Matter of fact, let me roll this clip and try to break it down so y'all can see what I'm talking about.
One bout of anger, like a 2-minute expression of rah, can take 7 hours for your body to recalibrate hormonally and biochemically. 7 fucking hours of high cortisol, 7 hours of fog thinking, 7 hours of an inability for your immune function and your immune system to fight off bacteria, viruses, and other forms of disharmony in the body.
Our body is going to react and try to expel it or deal with it or solve it or heal it. So when you have this anger, there's a lot of things that happen in our body, like you seen in the video, high cortisol levels.
Mm-hmm.
That's stress levels that make you retain belly fat and all types of things.
Mm-hmm.
And the tenseness and the foggy brain, like you can't think straight, and it's like 7 hours it
Yeah.
take. And then when I think about it, like you're usually bad for like 7 hours, like literally. I remember one day I was upset about something that I chose to be offended. I really didn't have to be offended, but hey, sometimes we do. But it's all about how you control it and how you react. And so what I do when I'm upset about something, a rule of thumb for me is like be quiet, hear the other person out, let them say what they're gonna say, and then kind of revisit the conversation after that 7 hour period. Because during that 7 hour period, like when you're not thinking straight because of the brain fog, the high cortisol, the stress, the tension, is like you're just lashing out and you're just defending and you're offended and on the defensive.
You're in full war ready mode.
You're on full rage.
Yeah, full rage.
Full rage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I had to circle back, and I came back to the situation when I was, cool, thought about it, was able to do my little workout, and it's funny that I say workout because it's this guy that was saying, did you want to make a comment about?
Well, I was just going to say,
7 hour?
to your point on the cortisone, that is the stress hormone, but that's the stress hormone that we typically release when we are trying to survive. So ultimately, anger is a response to fear. You know what I mean?
Or being under attack or survival.
But even being under attack, it's like you're afraid that they about to come take my
That
shit.
something's about to happen to you.
You know what I'm
Like,
saying? Like,
yeah.
so going back to how we perceive stuff, how we perceive a threat, or what we think or what we perceive to be a threat, I should say, or a challenge, like that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like that matters.
Right. And also, like I was about to say, like, so I had to go, do my elliptical machine, you know, lift little weights or whatever, you know what I mean? And it was this I ran across this video, and the guy had broken down, was saying how, he has this thing when he gets upset, it's called 10 down. Uh, if it works for you, it don't, everyone can't, do push-ups or whatever the case may be, but you still want to get in that mind frame, like, I need to like work this cortisol out. So check this video out.
If you're pissed off, listen closely, all right? Anytime we're pissed off, we're angry, we're frustrated, we're never going to make great decisions. We're never going to say nice things, all right? 99% of the times, we're going to do something that we're going to regret later on once the anger goes away. So what I like to do when I'm pissed off, when I'm angry, when I'm frustrated, is something called 10 down. I can't do burpees, or I do burpees, but something called 10 down. So we do 10 push-ups, get back up, go back down, do 9 push-ups, get back up, go back down, do 8 push-ups. And I did 3 rounds of this until I broke a sweat. Right here, I'm in the middle of this coffee shop. I don't give a fuck who's around. Cars are driving around, people are looking. I don't give a shit, because at the end of the day, if we don't do something with this energy, we're only going to regret what we do with it, So meaning, I decided to get a workout in here. I don't care. Street, put my phone down, put my wallet down. I'm going to get this workout in. And I'll tell you right now, whenever you take this as an opportunity to get better, you're rewiring your brain to think, when shit pisses me off, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to get better, to practice discipline. And this is what I'm doing here. I'm turning that negative energy into positive energy. I'm using it to make me better. And when you can master this skill, this is called self-mastery. When you can get yourself into a state of like, hey, anything that's against me is for me, you're going to prevail. That's the whole reason I can get on here and speak to you like this. So just hear me out. I get it. We get pissed. Things happen. We don't expect them to happen, but it doesn't matter. What we do with it is going to determine who we become. That's going to determine our character. So 10 down. Get after it. I know you can.
It's a nice little regimen, whether you angry or not. So, if you're trying to get that, summer body, because summer right around the corner.
Yep.
So it's about that time.
But yeah, 10 down is cool. Me personally, what I like to do is I'll ask myself, within the next 5 minutes, what impact is this going to have on my bottom line? If the answer to that question is 0, then it's just water under the bridge. So like you said, we still human, so you have to give yourself the opportunity to be human. So yeah, I'm gonna give myself 5 minutes to be human. So that whole I'm gonna give myself 5 minutes to do that.
Right.
But within that 5 minutes, I've already thought, I already know, all right, I only have 5 minutes to do this. I only have 5 minutes to be mad or be angry, be enraged. And then again, because 9 times out of 10, if you ask yourself that question, is this going to have an impact on my bottom line? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. It's going to be 0, unless again you perceive, or you just making it up because you just still want to be wound up and mad. You know what I mean?
Exactly. like I said, the choice is yours. You have to choose to be offended, and I want that to really resonate with you guys out there, because that is so profound, and it's so true, and it's so powerful.
Yep.
From your own perspective, you have to choose. Even if someone call you a nigger, someone call you a bitch, someone call you a hoe, someone call you a cracker, somebody call you a spick, you have to choose to be offended. Because what they say, just because they said it, don't make it true. Who are them?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They might call you a faggot. They might call you a homosexual. Whatever. Just because somebody said it, don't mean it's fucking true. So the power lies with you. It lies with you, and it always has, and it always will. So keep that in your mind, like when you're dealing with people that because some people just like to push your buttons. And some
Yeah.
people just like to do things to get reactions, especially on social media. I think that's a good thing to keep in mind on social media too. You got a lot of trolls on social
Yep.
media that's in these comments just looking to poke the bear
Mm-hmm.
and just looking to trigger responses and just to offend people,
Mm-hmm.
based on whatever their own insecurities, or if they just trying to get clickbait or whatever the issue is. But you don't have to always be offended and
Yep.
jump off the bridge.
So ultimately, to wrap it up, like we talked about, avoiding crashing out, because it actually kind of like the word the young bulls came up, crashing out just to describe getting going, as we would say 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah,
now,
crashing out.
now that the young bulls, they term is crashing out,
Because
but
it is a crash out.
but I like it because I personally I like to use the analogy of in life we're driving down the highway of life,
Hmm.
and we need we got guardrails, we got barriers, but if you're not paying attention, if you allow other people to say something or get under your skin, if you relinquish control of the wheel at the end of the day, you're going to crash
You're
out
going to crash out.
on the highway of life,
Yep.
whether that's crashing out into somebody else, crashing out into a wall,
Yep.
figuratively and literally,
Yep.
crashing into another car,
Yeah.
or crashing out could be a lot more than just you getting into it. It can lead to death.
Yeah,
Crashing
like
out can lead to
over a
death.
cliff and you killed yourself.
Yeah, right. Or you can go crash out over a
Right.
cliff, right?
Or crashing out into your own living room. Now
Mm-hmm.
you done messed up your own house, your
Yep.
own shit.
Mm-hmm.
Your crashing out don't only affect whatever you crash into, but it also can affect you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it really does affect your bottom line.
Facts. And then you really, so case in point, in closing, so to your point, we always seeing these digital street, these videos where the typically we see when the woman is upset that the man cheated on her, she crashes out by bleaching his clothes, keying his car, busting his windows out. However, ladies, we gotta just start being mindful that in this day and age, you're dealing with a new breed of man, and now from what I'm seeing, these dudes call the police, and so don't be catching no cases, because you will still catch a case, because it's still vandalism, it's still all that kind of stuff. So don't be catching don't be catching petty cases just because you can't control your emotions.
Yo, it's funny you said that, right? Because I just watched this video today.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy and girl was arguing. She was in the driver's seat. He outside the car.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're arguing about, but she got upset. So she tried to run him over, right? And he was like, I had to get my Saquon on. And she tried, like, not even thinking straight, because the way the car was positioned, like, you ain't gonna hit him. All he had to do was step 2 feet over to the
Right.
and get out the way. But she was crashed out,
Mm-hmm.
tried to hit him, boom, ran right into the building. Tried to hit him again, backed up, put it in reverse, tried to hit him again, ran right into the pool. Like, now your car
Right.
is fucked up.
Gotta pay
I
for
hope
the building.
you got insurance.
Right.
Now you got to pay for property damage.
That premium on your insurance is going up.
Everything's going up for that moment of rage.
That moment of
For
rage,
that,
right.
I think in that video he said 2 seconds or 20 seconds or whatever the case.
But usually it was probably like a good 15, 20 seconds.
And she was in, and I bet you she was still mad 7 hours later.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you she still had that cortisol. All she could do, whatever, and the part was over nothing. And probably a misunderstanding.
Right. Yep.
Maybe she thought he was cheating, or maybe he could have been cheating, or whatever the case may be. But still,
control yourself.
The powers.
Right. The powers in you. Control yourself.
All right. Next topic: group economics. How do you expand the lifespan of $1 in your community? Mm-hmm. They say money talks, but where it goes says even more. In many communities, $1 doesn't last long before it leaves, while in others, it circulates and builds wealth for generations. Why is that? And more importantly, how can we take control of our financial power? Let's talk about how we can keep money in our communities longer and leverage group economics to create real financial impact. Let's dive in.
Yes, sir.
This is a great topic. I always like talking about these type of topics.
You and me
because
both.
These are life-changing topics.
Yes.
These are topics that will change our trajectory as a people, as a community, as families, as whatever. Fill in the blank.
Mm-hmm.
This will put you on the path to success,
Yep.
financial freedom, all the above. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. And the thing about group economics that sticks out to me the most is it's a practice that we do engage in. It's just when we engage in it isn't typically for our own enrichment. It's for someone else's bank account's enrichment. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm funny you said that because what came to my mind is something that I wanted to talk about, which I'm irritated. Like, we supposed to be doing this boycott, right?
Right.
This weekend is supposed to be.
Oh yeah, I keep hearing about the.
Yeah.
You talking about the Target one? Or
No,
just
this
period?
weekend is supposed to be a big one. Like, we supposed to not buy.
I ain't been tapped in, y'all. So this is new
this
news
weekend
to me.
we ain't supposed to buy anything.
And by we, who are we specifically referring to?
Us.
Americans of African descent. Gotcha.
Americans of African descent.
Gotcha.
And you know they're boycotting Target. I'm sorry, I just went to Target yesterday. Got my detergent, my toothpaste, and my facial scrub. All that. You know, I like Target. Target ain't did nothing to me, and I don't know. So, but my question, the point I want to make is, we make these stances to boycott, right? And so don't go to Target. So what are we going to do with the money that we don't spend at Target?
Exactly.
Are we taking it to give it to another entity company that may be just as racist as you think Target is, but you just don't know about it?
Right.
Or are we taking it and putting it into a pot that will give us some collective economic structure, or stability, or
some
leverage,
sort of fun, right?
Yeah, or something. You know, like I said in the last one, like even with the whole Black History Month, like everyone make a big thing about Black History Month, but is Black History Month the month that we collectively come together and create add another Black hospital? Is February the month that we come together and now we open up another Black bank? Or is February another month when we open up another Black school because we all done took our money and put it together to benefit us in the long run as a community? The Jewish community got it down pat. They fine.
Yeah.
You know, all the other communities know how to
Asian
work
community,
together.
Hispanic community.
They all sitting back laughing at us, and then here
Indian
we go.
Community.
Here we go talking about we boycotting this weekend. We're not going to the stores. It starts Friday, but Thursday you gonna go and double up on everything that you will have bought that Friday.
Yeah, facts.
Make it make sense.
The math ain't mathing.
Make it make sense. You know, the people if I'm the CEO of Target and you say,
right,
I'm not coming on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I'm gonna have a sale on Thursday and Wednesday.
but Thursday, you coming in there getting everything you need for the rest of the month, buying two of everything just so you can get through the boycott.
Right.
Who is winning and who is losing?
Right.
You know, I just want us to think through it. Like, I understand the galvanizing and getting us together. I get that, but we got to get to step 2. What do we do with the means that we withhold from these corporations? When do we put it together to make it work for us? Like we said, make it circulate in our community. I know that's kind of off on a tangent, but I felt like it was.
You want to know another example that I saw recently of group economic? Well, how group economics can be executed from an organization perspective was when Joy Reid show got canceled on MSNBC. I saw so many memes of we not letting this go, boycott NBC. We go.
They had a GoFundMe.
They right. I saw so much action, so much organization, so much group economics off of one sister getting fired.
Right.
And that's what I mean from my earlier point when I was saying that we already know how to execute group economics. We already practice it. We just don't practice it to enrich ourselves. We just practice it to enrich other people's bank accounts outside of our communities.
And the thing to that Joy Reid situation, she got canceled because she ain't had the ratings.
Yeah, right. It's still
number
business,
one.
right.
And then another point I want to say, she didn't have the ratings because we're not watching it, right? So we come together to fight it. And
that's actually a good point, right?
But are y'all watching her show?
Right.
Because if y'all was watching the shit, they wouldn't have canceled it.
Yep.
They canceled it because it ain't no viewers. But now that she got canceled, all the black people want to be in uproar, like, oh, this is racist.
So hustling backwards.
Yeah, like, but do you watch the show?
Nope.
No. It's like
nope.
Make it make sense. Please make it make sense. There's a because there's other things that we got to worry about.
Exactly.
You
We got
know,
bigger fish to
we
fry, as they
have
would
bigger
say.
fish to fry. Like there's a stat that says back in 1950, um, uh, um, the white people, how we wait,
Americans
Americans
of
from
European
European
descent.
descent.
Right.
I'm going to have to get it right. Americans from European descent was about 80% of the United States,
Okay.
and
Okay.
1950 they was 80%. Now, uh, black Americans of African descent and Americans of Latino descent are about 40% of the population now. So with that saying, the trajectory is, in another 5 to 10 years, um, will the minority will be the majority
Okay.
in America,
Got you.
and uh, the spending power that we have as the minority is, like we said, like in the trillions.
Yes.
So for the first time in American history, America won't be able to operate without the minorities.
Yes, right. Because the dominant society, quote unquote, the
And it's
Americans of
about
European descent, they won't be they won't have the numbers no more.
right,
And so now, going back to just basic math, they just won't have the numbers.
right. Matter of fact, let me play this video to because I know I'm paraphrasing and I could be, but let's roll into this video.
What about DEI now? For the certain people who have been suppressed and forgotten, we need our jobs. We need equal rights. What's your stance on that?
I don't care about DE&I. You want to kill it, kill it. It's already been weaponized. It's been made political. It's dead. DE&I as a program is effectively dead. I don't care about DE&I. I love diversity. We're having the wrong argument. In fact, we're arguing. There's no need to argue. There's not enough college-educated, successful white men to drive GDP, gross domestic product, for the next 20 years. In 1950, America was 90% white. Not 1850, Cam. 1950. Today, America's 40% black and brown. Within 10 years, there'll be a majority of minorities. 70% of the U.S. economy, $29 trillion, is consumer spending. That's you and me. Going to restaurants, going to lunch, playing video games. That's consumer spending. That's us. So for the first time in history, this country cannot succeed without all of us. So unless my white friends want to be speaking Mandarin in 20 years, meaning Chinese, we better figure out in the next 5 or 10 years that we're better together.
Hey, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like we could start in
Start small in the home, right?
and it starts in the home, and that's what we were saying as it relates to us reaching Gen Beta and looking at the future. We have to start early. Putting the STEM applications into their mindset, into their everyday dealings
The
and
day-to-day
understandings and
livelihood.
lives and interactions. That we have to put those tools, equip them with those tools early, so therefore it could be easier for them.
Yep.
In the long run, and we all be winning. Like the video said, you got a son, you got a daughter. Hey, you can stay here with me, and that's another thing we don't do in our community. Once once that motherfucker turns 17, 18, you got to go. You don't got to go home, but you got to get the fuck up out of here. I'm sick of your ass. You ain't shit. You just like your sorry ass father. We know that. We know how the dialogue go. Get the fuck out. And you know what I mean? It's like now we out here in the street, couch surfing,
Yep.
doing here, doing things that impede on our integrity, because you need somewhere to stay.
Right.
Now you in circumstances where you might have to give something that you don't want to give up, whether it's your sexuality, whether it's your body, whether it's your your money, your integrity, your character. Now we're in these positions where we have to make all these decisions because we're out here in the middle of the ocean swimming with these sharks at 18 years old.
Yep.
Compared to where other cultures, you can stay home as long as you want till you get on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're staying there, all right, let's help mom.
Yep.
Let's help
Let's
dad.
contribute.
Let's contribute. So it's easier for them and it's easier for you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I usually hear the quote unquote wise parents and smart parents, what they'll do is they'll still collect rent from the kid, because I do believe it is important for that 18-year-old to have the to know what it feels like to have the responsibility of having to pay that $500, $600, $700 a month. but they don't spend the money.
Right.
When the kid, let's say at 18, but then at 25, the kid decides they want to quote unquote go out on their own. The parents usually save that money and then they give that kid all that 5 years of rent that they done paid, so that they have some money to get started off on. But again, group economics.
Right.
That's another way of executing. Now, there's another video that I wanted to talk about. So let's just say you are in that position where you did get kicked out, and you are on your own couch surfing, or you are trying to hold it down at your own rental. Let's talk about how you can implement group economics that way.
Actually, we're looking at group economics. Group economics starts at home. If I can live with my mum and she can provide me with a room, that means that my living, that is cheaper for me to live at home, so my costs are lower, but I can also contribute and help her so she, again, gets a benefit from me being there. We're both winning. And that's the mindset that I think we should have. That's how I feel like we should look at it. I don't think we should say, oh, you're my mum, you shouldn't charge me. And, oh, you know, I'm a child, I should be able to stay here rent free. We should think about, how do I add value to the environment that I'm in?
Hey, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like we could start in
Start small in the home, right?
And it starts in the home, and that's what we were saying as it relates to us reaching Gen Beta, and looking at the future. We have to start early. Putting the STEM applications into their mindset, into their everyday dealings and
day-to-day
understandings in
livelihood.
life, the interactions. Like we have to put those tools, equip them with those tools early, so therefore, it could be easier for them.
Yep.
In the long run, and we all be winning. Like the video said, you got a son, you got a daughter. Hey, you can stay here with me, and that's another thing we don't do in our community. Once once that motherfucker turns 17, 18, you got to go. You don't got to go home, but you got to get the fuck up out of here. I'm sick of your ass. You ain't shit. You just like your sorry ass father. We know that. We know how the dialogue go. Get the fuck out. And you know what I mean? It's like now we out here in the street, couch surfing, doing hair, doing things that impede on our integrity, because you need somewhere to stay.
Right.
Now you in circumstances where you might have to give something that you don't want to give up, whether it's your sexuality, whether it's your body, whether it's your your money, your integrity, your character. Now we're in these positions where we have to make all these decisions because we're out here in the middle of the ocean swimming with these sharks at 18 years old. Compared to where other cultures, you can stay home as long as you want till you get on your feet. But when you're staying there, all right, let's help mom. Let's help dad.
Contribute.
Let's contribute. So it's easier for them and it's easier for you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I usually hear the quote unquote wise parents and smart parents, what they'll do is they'll still collect rent from the kid, because I do believe it is important for that 18-year-old to have the to know what it feels like to have the responsibility of having to pay that $500, $600, $700 a month. But they don't spend the money.
Right.
When the kid, let's say at 18, but then at 25, the kid decides they want to quote unquote go out on their own. The parents usually save that money and then they give that kid all that 5 years of rent that they done paid, so that they have some money to get started off on. But again, group economics.
Right.
That's another way of executing. Now, there's another video that I wanted to talk about. So let's just say you are in that position where you did get kicked out, and you are on your own couch surfing, or you are trying to hold it down at your own rental. Let's talk about how you can implement group.
So, for example, looking at group economics, that's a strategy that someone could employ. So if you, for example, want to save more money or have more money at the end of the month, and I want to have more money at the end of the month, maybe what we do with it is different in terms of our goals, but at the end of the day, we both want to have more money. And you might have a house and a spare bedroom for guests that you're not using, and I'm renting right now. Maybe I'm renting for like $1,200 a month. And you say to me, hey, Andrew, we both need to save a little bit more money at the end of the month. I know you got some credit card bills trying to pay down. I'll offer the room to you for $600. Right. So that's the group economics right there, where you're winning because now you got an extra 600. I got an extra 600 because I cut my housing expense in half. So, we kind of have to think in that mentality of how can we help one another in this situation, and that could really be beneficial for both people.
I don't understand how we don't get it.
Man.
But you know what? I understand. I do understand, to be devil's advocate. And it comes down to your character
Hmm.
and your integrity, and you being a man of your word, a man or woman of your word. I understand why people aren't um so anxious to make a decision like that, because you let somebody move in and run out the room, and then they your friends or your family, they have a tendency to take advantage of you
Yeah.
and don't pay you the money. Then
Right.
they got a song and a dance, and that's why I said it comes down to your integrity and your character.
Yes.
We have to also address that. Maybe we'll do an episode
Yeah,
on
we'll
that,
do that, yeah.
integrity and character.
Yeah.
And because all we have is our word.
Yeah.
And it's important that we are men and women of our words, and it is important that we have integrity and character, and we have respect for people in general, but even more so people that are going out of their way or opening up a way for you to work with them to make your life and their life better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so to play devil's advocate, I could see how a lot of people like, I ain't letting that nigga, I ain't rent my room out to nobody. He
I need my space.
He ain't coming up in here.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. And I get it, but once, like we said, when we look at the big picture, and once we get to that space in our own right, where we have integrity and we have character and we have respect for your space that you're opening up
Right.
for me,
Right.
and I can come in there and I know, all right, let me clean up behind myself, make sure ain't no dishes, make sure that I clean the bathroom myself at least once a week, so it ain't build up
Right.
grime around the tub and in the shower
Right.
and the toilet, shit stains all in the toilet. Like, there's a whole lot of nasty shit that comes
Right.
with, because us as humans, we got our own
Right. No, 100%.
waste and dirt in your own house by yourself.
Mhm.
So when someone else comes in, so you just got to be mindful. All right, nobody shouldn't have to ask you to clean the bathroom.
Exactly.
Nobody shouldn't have to ask you to clean the kitchen.
Right.
Nobody shouldn't have to ask you to run the vacuum machine in the house. Nobody should.
Well, in your case, the what's it called, the Swiffer?
The Swiffer, right?
The Swiffer.
Right. Nobody shouldn't have to ask you, to do all that. That your character.
You're right.
Should,
but again, that's home training.
That's home training, right?
That comes from the home.
That's
so
from the home.
If people are coming from a household structure where that's not even taught, then when they do get out into the real world, they can't practice things like group economics because again, they're not gonna have a character that's gonna make people feel confident they can trust in them to pay them or to do what they say they're supposed to be doing, unless it's something that this person wants to do. So like again, we'll practice group economics for a guy's trip to Jamaica, girl's trip to the Bahamas. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Wedding in Vegas.
Right.
We will practice
wedding.
We will practice group economics for stuff like that. But when it comes to buying a business or buying some real estate, buying rental properties, or just saving money to just for the sake of putting it into some dividend stock, because like we can't do that. You can't do it.
And also, another way to do the group economics. Did we speak on this before? How the church could be
we talked about that.
Yeah. I don't think we talked about that.
I think we talked about it like
off
camera.
But I don't think we brought it to the people, to the fans.
So we're gonna spend a little bit more time on this segment just to bring up this point because that is actually a good point we need to make here.
Yeah, and you want to drive it?
All right, so I'll start off because again I think I brought it up. So as when we were talking off camera specifically about this topic when we were doing our research and our having our meeting, we brought up how the church. When I was in Arkansas this past when I was when actually I dropped you off, so I came back through my peoples in Gippsland, and then so I was chilling with one of my relatives, and he was busting down some of just our family history. But one of the things I remember he kept bringing back to was talking about how the church was the cornerstone of the community, how everything went down there. That's where the church was the platform for commerce. That's where everybody came. On Sundays, for example, you would have your crops to sell, or that's if there was a meeting that needs to be held about the community. It was done at the church. So the church was the centerpiece of the community. It was like the community center. And he was talking about how specifically now when it came to money, like that's where you would have those meetings. And so it's like when we fast forward to now, it's like, why doesn't the church do that anymore? Why isn't the church that centerpiece of the community when it comes to industry, when it comes to commerce, when it comes to, in this case, group economics? like it once was.
Yeah.
Especially in the communities of Americans of African descent. Like that was literally our platform. You know what I'm saying? Nothing happened if it didn't go through the church. So it's like, why isn't that the case nowadays? Like, how is it that I think one stat I saw recently, a while back, it was like there's been an estimate of over like $400 billion in taxes collected just in the American of African descent churches alone. And this is now over, let's just say 20 to 30 years.
They don't pay taxes.
But that's my point. They don't pay taxes, but those ties, so they've still collected billions of dollars.
Oh, but if they did pay taxes.
No, not just on the strength of just the ties. That's what I'm saying. They've just collected billions in ties alone.
Gotcha.
So, but it's just like our communities and where these churches is at, it don't look like they've collected billions of dollars in tithes. It doesn't.
Well, if you go to the preacher's house,
right. If you look at his photo album or her photo album, right?
If you see the Maybach he pulled up in, and then the Jag coupe that she pimping in Beverly Hills, and the Louis Vuitton from head to toe, and the never wear the same outfit twice that she
that's their
vibe she gives.
So maybe that's probably where
where you looking.
So the billion. So now again, we still pulling y'all chain, but we still being serious because again, these billions have went someplace, and it ain't the community.
And the point that we're making, that how the church can be effective in group economics, because number one, you have the community gathering, and you're
once a week,
twice
at a bare minimum.
Twice, because they got Bible class, and then they got their service.
So
and
2 days a week, y'all got community.
3 times on Sunday,
and let's not forget the revival.
And Sunday school, and that pastor's anniversary,
right?
And Women's Day,
right? And Women's Day, right?
Right.
And then we can't forget the Christmas pageant
and the Family and Friends Day, and the Easter play,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Right. But the point, man, we're joking, but the point being is, so I was talking to Dane. I was like, so how could the church be, critical in this economic realm of things? And so he was saying that whether you have a ministry, an investment ministry at the church,
right,
where the members can join the ministry, like you could join the choir, you could join the usher board, you could join the deacon board, or whatever the case may be. Have an investment board where you're obligated to put up a certain amount of money, whether it's once a month, every week, part of your tithe, or whatever the case may be. You put up money, and then y'all invest into properties and buildings and things, and everyone that's in it will benefit from it. And I think the church could really benefit, or could really impose their ideology on our people. Because like you said, we already have them coming together. That's so the organization, that's half the battle. There, that's half the battle, is to galvanize people and get them to come together.
Organize.
Right. So you got us all there. Stop draining them of their resources and their money and their time, and not putting nothing back into them and the community. We're not talking about no free turkey meal on Thanksgiving.
Right.
We ain't talking about no toy drive around Christmas. We ain't talking about no Easter play on Easter and Christmas play and where you still perpetuating Santa Claus and reindeers and chimneys and all that bull crap, and Easter bunnies and all that stuff, and Easter egg hunts.
Right.
Come on, let's have some. Let's raise some capital.
Yeah. Let's invest in some stuff.
Let's invest in let's
buy a block
and invest in stuff where not just the church is the beneficiary of it.
Right.
Because I realize they are doing that. They are doing that, but it's the church that's on the lease. The church reaps those benefits.
Yep.
The church reaps that harvest from said businesses or properties or whatever business engagements they get into. And it's like, come on, let's give it to the people. Let's elevate the minds of our people, and not only the churches, even like we even said fraternities and sororities. Let's start collectively getting our people together to put resources and things that will give back to the people that put the resources up.
Yep.
It's as simple as that. But we got a lot of people that just want to take, and hoard, and money is never enough. I heard a preacher say the worst animal in the jungle is not the lion, is the love of money.
Mm.
That's the biggest animal on this planet. The most vicious is the love of money, because the love of money will make you kill your brother.
Yep.
It'll make you kill your father.
Make you kill your mama.
It'll make you snitch on your mama. It'll make you sell your child,
So
your
all that
firstborn.
greed, right?
It will make you sell your child into sex slave as a sex slave, or it'll make you prostitute your niece, your nephew. It'll make you sell your own soul.
Yes.
As you see people in Hollywood, the love of money, they will sacrifice the integrity of their life, their well-being, just so they could be able to say they have X, Y, and Z, or the money or the finances, the means to do it. So, with all that being said, as we wrap it up, group economics, there's a lot of, you know what, and this is a good segue to the next video, because if the church implements these ways and practices, we could do group economics on a big scale.
Yes.
Because you have huge mega churches all over the world. Ain't nowhere, they don't need no G6 and all that. Come on, that money could be put into other things and other means. And so there's a video where they were talking about the Seminole Indians, and how they started small. How when they land was taken, and then they negotiated, or whatever the case may be, where they was able to get their reservations and their part of the land, and given space to do what they needed to do. They came together and was like, look, this is what we're gonna do. And now, as a result of them starting small, they have created something huge. Look at this video.
Oh, you want to be a rapper? You want to be whatever, I don't care, whatever it is that you want to be. Nope, everyone's going to put all that on pause. It's about 10,000 people in the tribe. You're going to go to school in hospitality, and you're going to learn how to be able to run a hotel, how to run casinos and tunnel vision, because this is about our tribe getting to generational wealth. Wow. So everyone was like, all right, let me go ahead, learn about hospitality and retail, everything. So everyone went back to school, learned these things. Then from there, they had their first casino. They had to fight for the rights, for casino rights, because remember, they're not federally recognized, but their land they own that land. So they had their first casino. Today, they own every Hard Rock in the world.
Wow.
The Seminoles is the most, I would say shout out to the Seminoles. Y'all know y'all give me love when I come down there. I love the Seminoles.
So, like I was saying, on a large scale, as we see the Seminole Indians, they took something, they started small. They reached out to their community. They reached out to Gen Beta, like we were saying, and instilled in them,
this is what y'all gonna do.
This is what y'all gonna do. All right.
Not what you passionate about, not what you like. This is because this is the big picture that we got. This is like you said, this is the grand vision.
This is the way we all coming up, and we all eating for generations. This is the way. This is what we have to do. This is a must. This is there's no option.
Yep.
Your choice and your feelings are not a factor. This is what we're doing here. Get down or lay down. As BC
real
said.
spit.
And this is how we have to approach the younger generation and stop giving them so many choices and so many options. They was like, look, you're going to go to school for hospitality. You're going to go to school for retail. You're going to learn how to do business. Then we come back. Look, we got this hotel. A casino. We got the casino. We done bought the casino. Boom, boom, boom. You running it. Now they own all the Hard Rock casinos in America. Started from that one endeavor, that one ideology, that one collective thinking, that one collective economic ideology, that one vision.
Yeah.
Vision is key. That one vision, they set. That's why you don't hear nothing from out of all the people. You got the blacks, the whites, the Asians. You don't never hear from these quote unquote Native Americans. Sometimes I think when they made it Indigenous Day or whatever the case may be, there was a little riots and protests, but and relates to how we always mad about something. Cause they good. They
Yeah.
got their reservations. They govern their own people. They
Right.
have their own laws and rules, and they have their residual income coming in. Because every casino that you go into, best believe you're paying into the
Group
futures
economics, man.
of the Native Americans. They knew how to capitalize on the market, on a commodity,
Hmm.
and they good. They set.
Yep. So it takes time, but it can be done.
It can be done.
Group economics.
That brings us to our next topic, family structures. Which is best to raise kids in? Two parents, single parents, extended family, co parenting? There's no one size fits all when it comes to raising kids. But which family structures create the most stability, success, and emotional health for children? Today, we're breaking down the pros and cons of different family dynamics and how they shape the next generation.
Mm.
Let's dive in.
Yeah, dog.
And I know people like have their opinion, and I think they're going to be really surprised about our take on this.
Yeah. Now, here's what I find fascinating. As two single guys who desire to have children, and speaking for myself, like I would prefer to have, a quote unquote two-parent household for the kids, not for my own personal benefit, but for their benefit. Like,
Right.
as a kid who grew up in a single parent household, I understand the feelings of uncertainty that I went through. But I also remember, the experience, the positive experiences that I got to have from, having kind of like that having that village, in environment, with it's auntie such and such, her kids coming over, because it's aunties is usually, there weren't any on my mom's side, at least there weren't really any men, so it was just all aunties. But
Right.
you're going from apartment to apartment, hanging out. Now as a kid, it's like a big sleepover in your mind, but the reality is just like, nah, like we struggling, like mom, we couch surfing at the end of the day. But again, there's positives and negatives in all family structures.
Right.
But again, we wanted to discuss again with the vision of promoting family and national unity to achieve some level of generational wealth by practicing group economics. It seems like there is certain household structures that will be better than others.
Right.
To me, from my point of view.
Yeah.
How about you?
Okay. Because I just had this revelation recently when I was doing the research, and what I realized is that the family structure that you choose to have externally, or the skeleton,
Yeah,
of the family structure, whether you want to have mom, dad, two dads, two moms, one dad, whether you want to do co-parenting, extended family, whether the grandparents are raising, whether the godparents are raising, maybe it's an aunt, whatever the case may be. What I realized after doing research, that structure is important. But what's more important is the structure that's within the actual household.
yeah,
The structure that's instilled in the child within the household, whether it's coming from an extended family, a co-parenting family, two gender family, or your nucleus family, mom and dad. It's all about, because you could have, one could say, the way to go is to have a mom and a dad. But if you have that two parent household and there's no structure within on how you do things, how you think, how you handle things, how you go about, how you project things, and how you train the child and set them up for success. If you don't do those things and you just let the kids go to their own devices and their own proclivities, it don't matter who's at the helm. It's going to be doomed for success.
It's going to be chaos.
Doomed. It's going to be
chaotic
chaotic
and anarchy.
And you're right, and it render no positive results. So that was something that I realized, like, whether whoever the parents or the the ones in charge,
The
governing the
guardian.
guardians of the
Right.
household. If they're not implementing the structure within the household, then
No, there's no home training.
hey,
So to your point, I'm glad that you pivoted to that, because that's ultimately the only structure that matters.
exactly.
Is the one, because when I initially, came up with the topic, it did stem specifically from something else that was a comment I believe I saw, where it was just saying that people always assume 2-parent households are the best. However, to your point, when I thought about structure, it wasn't necessary. It is from more so just the structure of the household in and of itself, not necessarily who's overseeing it. Because I think that's the fog most people get lost in,
Right.
and just like, oh, is it the mom, like you said, is it mom and dad, or is it mom and, but it's just like, no, it's because, again, even if it's a co-parenting situation, as long as both parents are on the same page,
right?
in regards to how they run their households, then the kid is not gonna have no lapses in their training, because what happens at mom's house happens at dad's house, and vice versa. But if you do have a situation where, at dad's house, I got structure in that, I got bedtime, I got times I need to have things done, and da 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 da. I got dad wants me to be a doctor, so he makes sure that I go to these events. He makes sure I read these books. But then when I go to mom's house, it's just, I don't have anything, and I can just do whatever I want to do. I could play video games all night and eat donuts and Doritos if I wanted to, and nothing's gonna happen. Can't do that at dad's house, though.
He ain't having it.
Dad ain't having it.
Ain't having it.
So actually, that reminds me of that video we had where the brother was talking about parents, having choosing their kids' careers.
Yeah, let's share that, and then we'll talk about it.
Huh?
Let's run it.
Yeah.
I got a friend from the Middle East. He's worth around $5 million. And he told me I was cursed. And if I did not change things, then my entire family would be cursed forever. What? We were at the park and our kids were playing and my daughters were having a conversation. We were listening. And they were talking about books and things they read and going back to school and stuff like that. And as soon as they walked away, he said, "Hey, Chris, what is she going to do for a living?" I said, "I have no clue. Whatever she wants to do. Whatever she wants." So yeah. If you don't know what she's going to do for a living, she doesn't know either, and she could be nothing. So wait, what? He said, yeah. She could be a failure. Wow. Wait, you planned their lives? He's like, yeah, I knew my son was going to be a doctor before he was born.
Man, dang. I think that video right there.
Shouts out to the brother.
What's his name? You remember his
name? I
name?
don't remember his name, but we'll post it in the.
Yeah. We definitely gotta give a shout out to all the videos and everybody that put up some content that gave us some jewels and wisdom.
Yeah, that was very impactful right there, and he said a lot that, like you said, I think a lot of parents don't take that one piece of parenting into consideration, like planning your kid's life, and it is as simple as, it is as serious as planning out their life.
What got me was when he said, the guy asked him, "What is she gonna do when she get older?" And he said, "I don't know. I guess she could do whatever she want to do." And he was like, "What if it's nothing?"
Yeah.
He's like, when you leave it up to that, like, nothing is an option.
Yes.
Because if you don't know, she damn sure don't know. He or she damn sure doesn't know.
And a lot of kids end up doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then the parents are sitting there wondering, like, well, why is my kid nothing? But it's just like, well, ma'am, sir, mom, dad, what was your plan for their career?
You left it up to the iPad.
Yeah, they whatever they wanted to be. Well, nothing was one of those options. A failure was one of those options.
Yeah. and you cultivated that.
So when it comes to family structure, again, it's not necessarily so much about the who is the parent, whether it's two, mom, dad, mom, dad, grandparent, blended family. That ain't really the structure that matters most. The structure that matters most is literally that kid's program. So again, y'all as the adults, whether it's one of y'all or 5 of y'all have to collectively sit down and plan out the next 18 years, or actually probably 25 years of your child's life. From literally from where they going to. Because again, I saw a stat one time, bro, that said it was a video that talked about how they can tell. Well, like planning for Ivy Leagues or high level careers like doctors that begins in preschool. So it's like so when we seen again when we go to I just went to the doctor this week. So when we walk in, they usually had the doctors the smiling faces, and you'd be looking. I know I'd be looking like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like I never saw nobody look like that at my high schools. But the reason why we don't really see people that look like that at our high schools, and I went to public school, is because again, 9 times out of 10, when we go to the doctor's office, their parents planned for them to be doctors, so they planned what high school they was going to, what junior school, and it wasn't the public school.
Right.
It was something specific because they planned it out.
Right.
So our thing is, getting them in the STEM. So that's why, like I said, we got Gen Beta to really put our fingerprints on this stuff and to really put this stuff into practice. And I believe that as long as that we stay, focused on our vision, that we can make it happen.
And to piggyback on what you're saying, like I really want y'all to understand, it's not about controlling the kid or making them do what you wanted to do, or making them go in avenues that you felt that. No, it's about understanding that child, seeing the proclivities and things that they have adornment for, things they have attachments to, and you being a parent in that situation, and cultivating that for them to be successful in whatever it is. And there's nothing wrong if we like, look, I'm pregnant, this gonna be a doctor. And then as soon as you start, you get books about medical terms as early as you can get them. You give them the stethoscope. I remember back when we was kids.
I remember getting stuff like that. Yeah.
I want to how old I am. But I remember the little doctor briefcase. It came with the stethoscope.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember them toys.
I might be pronouncing it wrong.
They still got them. Not stethoscope. They still got them kind of toys.
It came with the
blood pressure joint. Yeah.
It came with the syringe, and it came with a thermometer. For you to take the temperature, right. And you play doctor and things of that nature. And when we were coming up, when they asked you what did you want to be, a lot of people said doctors or lawyers or teachers. A lot of people wanted to be teachers when I was coming up as well, because that's what you've seen. You've seen a teacher as the authoritative figure, and most teachers cared about the student to a certain degree. It wasn't like the teachers now. Not saying that the teachers are bad, but it
was different.
No, but the quality of children that they dealing with, they have to be. That was different. They have to be the way they are. Yeah. And I'm not taking nothing from. And I give kudos to any teacher that could be a teacher, a teacher's aide, substitute teacher in 2025. Because these kids don't give a fuck. They always, I see so many videos like the kid talking about, you got me fucked up. Yeah. They got me fucked up. No, sit your fucking ass down before I fuck you up. That's what they need to be told. Excuse the language, but that shit just gets to me like these.
But that's the home training.
It is the home training.
That's the home training.
It is the home training.
We both know that the home training is no home training. So in the absence of home training, that's what you get.
Exactly.
So in the absence of structure, that's what you get.
That's what happens. That's
the byproduct of your lack of structure in your household. So get some structure in your life, baby.
Definitely need structure. There's another video where it talks more about the structure on how, like we said, it's not about the external. It's not about the rapping. It's not about the wrapper, the packaging,
the clothing they put on.
The clothing. It's not about the house that you live in and how nice it look outside. It's not about the car that you ride around it. It's about the contents of each said thing. The contents within that car. Who's driving that car? Who's riding in that car? Who's living in the house? The dynamics within the house. How things operate. How things flow. Who's wearing those clothes? It's about the character inside those clothes, the integrity, the person. And all those are cultivated at an early age through parenting. So there's a video where they were speaking more about it. I'm gonna roll that one.
One thing that I think is important to talk about as we finish here is I started with the structure or not structure, right? My wife and I parent, we're very structured with the way we do it.
Yeah.
There's a time that we eat every day. There's a time that we go to bed every single night. Everything really does work on a schedule. And I do the same exact thing every single night with the boys when I put them down, and they look forward to it, even though they've been hearing it since the day they're born. My older son, every night, whether I put him down or Donna puts him down, if Donna puts them down, he asks for me to come upstairs to say to him the thing that I say to him every single night, because he wants me to say it to him.
Yeah.
He wants that consistency. He wants that structure, and I think it is something that not only is it like comforting for him,
Very.
but I think it's also setting a system in place of this is what we do. This is the routine that we follow for success.
And I can predict it and I can expect it. I can rely upon it. It feels safe because of that consistency, that reliability.
Hey, it's all about the consistency of stability. Stability goes a long way because in the opening, we not only do we want to create functional kids, but we need to create children and little people that are stable, like
Yes.
mentally, and understand how to function when things are right, when things are wrong, when you don't get what you want. There's a lot of people, like when you constantly give a child everything they want, and then they get into this world and something don't go their way. That's a lot of the problems that we have. A lot of these kids are spoiled, or whatever the case may be, or left to raise themselves and given everything that they ask for or want. And then when they, meet challenges or adversities that don't align with what they think they should get, or what they think they are entitled to, that's when we have chaos.
That's when the tension starts. And so he made a good point in that. Well, actually, she kind of buttoned it up when she said that there's a safety and consistency, stability. There's a safety and stability and consistency, and that is true because we naturally crave security, and because we want to have some sort of level of predictability in the world that we feel is chaotic. So this concept of consistency, it does matter when it comes to our, like you said, the structure of our household. We eat at the same time. I come up and say what I say to them every night at the same time, whether the mom. So it's like, but again, that requires the adults, the guardians, whether it's 1 or 5 in that household, to all be on the same page. So that's effective communication, and that's them relieving their egos of being in the center of the attention, to being a part of nature, or a part of their household. So these things can be achieved if we take the time to be a part of the household, as opposed to believing that the household is supposed to revolve around us. And that's, from my point of view, that's the biggest problem, because again, we get told as kids, because we want to do stuff as kids, but then what are we typically told? Like, well, you a kid, you can't do it. When you an adult, you can do whatever you want to do.
Right.
But that's something that's some language we got to really reevaluate and reimagine, because what ultimately ends up happening is those very kids grow up to adults that think they can do whatever they want to do.
Right.
And whatever they want to do can be detrimental to their livelihood.
Yes.
And it can become a problem for their loved ones in regards to the emotional, mental, and financial strain that their decisions can have on the group, and it could ultimately lead to the structure crumbling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And you tapped in on a good point. There's safety and stability and consistency. When you have that in your home becomes a safe haven. You're safe there, and you feel the safety, because to be consistent, that means I'm important.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Is it,
well, no. You make a good point, because I was going to tie it back to like within just the structure of the household now, just the male female relationship, in that one thing we often hear women complain about when it comes to men is the lack of consistency. So that's my point. Like, these things are all operating off these desires or these complaints are all coming from the same primal software that is in every human being.
Yes.
It's just how it's executed. So the same way we're talking about, it's important for parents to be consistent for their kids. in regards to the structure of their household, like that structure of our household, it also applies to the male, the man and the woman's relationship having that sense of consistency.
So
So
the
for
guardians of the household.
as guardians of the household. So
Mhm.
again, so typically the women, they want consistency in regards to the man's fidelity.
Mhm.
Oh, you didn't, or reassuring his love for them.
Mhm.
Oh, love me. So, and the way that they want that expressed is, as they might put it, acts of service or a gift giving, things like that.
Yeah.
However, men's desire for security in their relationship is the same thing, but ours is different in that we want exclusivity.
Mhm.
So we don't want you talking to every man.
Mhm.
We don't want you taking every pass, every bed. No, we don't want you wearing nothing next to nothing to the club.
Mhm.
That's how we want our security, and we want that to be consistent.
And the kid has expectation,
And the kid has
as well.
So everybody got expectations of security, which is normal.
Right.
It's human.
Right.
We all, males, females, children, adults, we all want it.
Mhm.
But we just have to understand our place in whatever environment or situation we create ourselves in. Again, going back to vision, what vision are we trying to accomplish here? And then taking the steps to make sure that we are maintaining the consistency needed to achieve said vision. Period.
Point blank. Period.
And structure is the foundation of all that.
Structure is key.
Family structure in this case.
Structure. Remember we talked about boundaries before. Structure, all that plays a part because, like I said, boundaries, structures provide safety.
So not to cut your wisdom off, but even structure and stuff when it comes to protection. So again, having a discussion about, in the event a stranger approaches you, this is our structure on how we gonna handle that situation.
Right.
Like that matters. That type of structure matters. Or little Timmy, little Johnny, our structure for school pickup is, we're gonna be here by 3:30. So if you look on your clock or your iPhone nowadays, your smartphone, and you see mom and dad or some approved guardian ain't here by 3:30, your structure is to go into school and wait in the office.
Mm-hmm.
And that matters.
It does.
That type of structure matters.
It matters. Yeah, stability matters. Because I was going to say, when you implement those, you feel, when you feel safe, you feel important.
Mm-hmm.
You
100%.
you feel valued.
100%.
You feel noticed.
Mm-hmm.
You feel seen.
Yeah.
Because no one protects nothing that they don't care about.
Yep.
And so when I know that you're protecting me, and consistency give you the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're consistent about anything, that means you're in tune to it. You care about it. You're passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether what that goes for something as your dreams or goals, or how you consistent in your friendships or relationships or partnerships. It has all those attributes of it that are kind of subtle but also important.
Mm-hmm.
To us functioning as human beings and dealing with each other.
I agree.
I want to do this one last video.
Yep.
Because he kind of talks a little more about structure and
superstructure,
and like how like we just really got to try to get it together and just try to do better, and like really look into what is it that we can do better.
And this doesn't matter if you're poor class, you're middle class, or you're high class, you're low class. It don't matter what your class is.
It don't matter what the family structure is. It don't matter if it's mom, dad, mom, dad, mom, dad, grandmom, godmom, auntie. It don't matter. It don't matter. Check this out.
What we found with the best families of the world is that they focus on value creation. They focus on a system in the home of how to raise kids with expectations. You don't pay for that. That's your role in the family. And you have expenses for your kids to be in charge of. Because without that, they have no motive to earn and create value, right? So if you pass those off, now you can give them ways to earn around the home. With action gigs all around the house, brain gigs, grandparents get involved, the neighbors get involved, and it teaches them financial literacy, value creation. They never ask you for money. Again, the bank of mom and dad is closed for good. It's a beautiful thing. No more arguments over chores, and really what it does is it protects the relationship. It allows you to grow true family legacy. So that's what we connected on, and that's what we're going to be launching out to the world here in February.
You heard that. It protects relationships.
Mhm.
It protects legacy.
Yep.
When you know that your parents are there for you, and they got your best interests at hand, and they're going to do the things that takes to make you feel safe, make you feel heard, make you help you thrive, and position you for success. Once you get to that age where you start thinking, you're more likely to have positive thoughts in regards
Yeah.
to your parents
Yeah.
than rather than you trying to get away from your parents.
Yeah.
Or I
100%.
just I just want to get away.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like, no, no, they love me. Like,
Right.
like I'm good. Like
Mhm.
we good. Like, and I love them.
Yep.
But we raise a lot of times we come up where we just try our best to get away from our parents because we are working out our own different emotions and really
Yep.
not working together
Mhm.
collectively.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. In that it all stems from just a lack of going back to the previous topic, just operating as a group, specifically group economics, group emotions, group lifestyle, because that's really what
Hmm.
it boils down to. That's what our families represent. It's a lifestyle, and we can be the authors of that lifestyle. We don't just have to run the same play every generation runs, which is this chase or this pursuit of the American dream. You can create your own dream, and you can create your own structure at the end of the day.
Yes, you can.
And again, in my opinion, what was just shared, the last video we did, that's an excellent structure. Because again, that's a structure built on being value creators.
Right.
And a household of value creators can't lose.
Mm-mm. You
You
can't
feel me? Like
lose.
you can't lose. So that's why I would strongly support that being the de facto structure in all American households. We are households of value that with the vision of producing value creators. Because again, a household of value creators produces a community of value creators,
Exactly.
produces a city of value creators,
Exactly.
produces a region, a state, a country of value creators.
Exactly.
And as a country of value creators, you think we will ever want for anything?
Nope.
You think we will ever be at a shortage for solutions to the problems that will inevitably, put themselves at our doorstep? Like, no. You think if we really had this sense of national and family unity that we say that we want, nobody won't be able to, like, America versus everybody, and we will win. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, we
We will
definitely
win,
yeah,
but it starts in the home.
and we all be winning because all the other countries, because this is something that these ripples will
Right,
ripple throughout the world. They look at America as the poster
as their
child for
benchmark. Right,
as the
exactly.
benchmark and everything. So if we're putting down these great principles and raising these great people and
Hmm.
children and communities and governments and that's going to resonate and everybody and I beg to differ that they're doing that outside of our country is us here that we're kind of like boggled down with too many different ideologies and too
Yes,
many different
yes. Too many options, as you said
options,
earlier.
too many options.
I agree with you. I meant to say
Yeah.
it back then, but to your point, like in my opinion, yes. From my POV, we have too many options. Because I talk to a lot of elders, people from the silent generation, and one thing I do realize about when they were coming up is, again, you either go work on the farm or you go into the military. When you get out the military, you either go be a police officer or you're gonna be a teacher. You know what I'm saying? All right. It was just real. You either go run a business or be an employee. You either go run this sweet potato farm or you go and go to the army or go work the
Hmm.
railroad or whatever. It was very simple. You know what I mean? It was no one or two options. But
Hmm.
since again now you can be 50 billion gazillion things, which leads to just paralysis by analysis alone, to where again you end
Mm.
up being nothing.
Paralysis by analysis.
Yep, you end
That's a
up being
good
nothing.
paralysis. You become stagnant and stuck trying to analyze and
Everything, every
everything
option.
and every option and trying to think. That happens to me when I'm on Uber Eats, right?
No, it happens to all. I mean, think about it. It happens to all of us. We all experience these. I was just talking to my baby bro
It take
about
me
it.
like an hour to find something on Uber Eats.
So for example, it takes you. We'll aimlessly scroll on Uber Eats for an hour.
The same shit we look at
Look, Pete. Like I was telling baby bro, we'll aimlessly scroll on Netflix for an hour and won't watch nothing.
and won't watch nothing. And won't watch nothing.
But we scroll for an hour
Or put it on and push play and then get up and do something else.
after we scroll for an hour.
Right.
To go find this good show or TV or movie to watch. So it's just like, yeah, man, like we just got to get it together and realize that, structure begins within a home. And a structure of value creators can't lose. So again, if one American household as value creators can do, you know, can do great things, and just imagine what a whole nation of household value creators can do.
Hey, the world is your oyster.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of good shows, you put me onto that show Paradise. I'm like, I'm stuck like Chuck, bro. Check it out, Paradise on Hulu. Like,
Pete,
that's a good one.
Yeah, man.
But all right, that brings us to our next segment, our comment segment, where we react to the comments. So make sure when you're watching the videos and the shorts, go ahead and comment. You know, engage with us. Let the ripples flow. Let us see where you're coming from, and
because we're gonna respond to the comments here.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're gonna come back and we're gonna, you know, speak to you directly.
Mm-hmm.
So who we talking to today?
So in this video, this comes from our TikTok page. This was the video we posted about finding the right partner will be impossible if you overlook this important part of relationships. I think we were basically talking about respect.
Yeah.
So we had a comment from someone, interesting name. There was So Rude 88. They said, I think the problem with the Bro podcast are they make the false assumption that we think like men. My assumption is we is like women.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, or he says, respect and need are two different words that hold no correlation in most women's minds.
I mean, I think with that, I think she's validating our argument because the point that we're making, men and women are different, and even though respect might not be important, or
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Nobody talking to you. You know, even though respect might be important, not be important or essential in your mind as a woman, is very much our nature as men.
Yes.
Like respect is everything to men.
Yes.
So to your point, So Rude 88, that's the point that we're making. And that's how relationships will work more cohesively together when one understands the position and the point of view of the other party that they're in relationship
So,
with.
you know, that's the E word, right? Empathetic. So we
Mm.
just have to be both genders, quote unquote, or both man and woman just have to be empathetic to each other's differences.
Yeah, and
It's not just one sided.
You know, because even in her comment is like one sided because she says, I think like she made the point, there's no correlation to respect in a woman's mind or whatever, as if we should think like you. Like
exactly, exactly.
Like how can you say that when the point we're making is that we're different and this is what we view important, and then if respect is not important in your mind as a woman, oh well and fine, you know, well we know what y'all like, words of affirmation, y'all like gifts, and y'all like affection, and y'all like, you know, we know the different love languages y'all have,
right?
You know what I'm saying, and we okay with it, you know, but we're letting you know, us as men, like, you know, respect is a necessity.
Yep.
You know, I think she said respect is not, and there's no need, there's no
correlation
correlation between respect and need
in most women's mind, right?
Yeah, she lost me there.
All right, so let's go on to the next video. So this video was about, nobody talks about this gender war question, but it changes everything. So we had 17 comments on this one. So let's see what are we talking about here. So we had Mr. String String CHZ says, IDK, maybe you work as partners in your partnership. Maybe you both work to make your house a home and raise your kids. Wow, what an insane idea.
Right, I feel you, bro. Like, but that is so absurd to think that we're both working together for the same cause. Yeah, it's so, the times have changed so much that something as simple and practical as that, you know, becomes so forbidden in a day like today. Like, oh, that's unheard of. Like, is it really? Is it really? Like, because
so this is actually the question where I was talking about the video where I say the clip where I talked about if, like, what was women's vision of the future if we were to keep maintaining a gender war.
Mm-hmm.
So then now that I actually think about it, because we were just basically, because I said, if men want women's roles to be that of mother and wife in the household, whereas women want their role to be that of as the same as the men role, being on the front lines in the workforce and in the political and in politics, then who's taking your point was then, well, who's taking care of the kids, who's taking care of, so I can, as I'm looking at this part, this question, I mean this comment now, I'm actually thinking like when they're saying like you work as partners in your partnership, I don't think they really understand what we're saying here, because we understand that partnership or working as partners is needed, but that's why we like the question was being asked, like what's women's vision of the future if the gender war maintains, because again, if because traditionally, we as men, we work outside the house and we focus on the power dynamics via politics. That's typically been the man's role in society.
Right.
Whereas the woman's role was more so cultivating, making the house a home. Right. I mean, being mother and wife. But if the mother and wife role is abandoned by woman for workforce and being a politician, because men, we not about to then just retreat into being husbands. I mean, not being husband, but being, caretakers of the household. Because our expectation will still be that to be out in the house. A woman will have a problem with the man, as they say, they got a problem taking care of a man. So we know that they're not taking care of no man. So as men, we're not even thinking that. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, we get that we need to work as partners, but again, how do we work as partners if we're both doing the same thing?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's what this comment is trying to say, but what this commenter string CAC doesn't necessarily understand, because yeah, partnership is the key, but again, we both can't be doing the same thing.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of men and women don't seem to be realizing, that because to your point, who's making a house a home if we both outside the house?
If we both at work.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on at home?
And it's like we're not both at work simply because, we love working, but it's like, again, we expect the men to quote unquote provide everything. So the man is going to work to take care of the household. Whereas we hear from the women, they are not going to work to take care of the household. They're going to work as an emergency plan in case the man leaves them. So that's typically also too why men don't care about women's money and their achievements and their resources, because they have told the man up front that he don't even need to take what she got into consideration, because her expectation of him is to provide and to protect and do everything
well after she's gone.
Right. So it's just like, why would he even need to take what she got into consideration? So Stringy HS, CHZ, we are saying work as partners. However, we can't be both doing the same thing as partners, because that defeats the point of us being partners.
Yeah, it's lopsided.
Yeah, like it's lopsided, right? All right, you want to do another one on this one? Because we had 19 on this one.
Oh yeah, pick one.
So all right, so here's another one. So we have Sherry Bear 25. It says, the irony of men debating this with apparently no clue that they are the ones who need to step up in partnerships to take care of home and children. Are they truly blind to this? No, men are not truly blind to this, but as we just established, Sherry Bear 25, partnership doesn't mean both people do the same thing. Like that defeats the purpose of a partnership. So it's just like, yes, a partnership does have roles and responsibilities. So it's like, yeah. So as typically in a male and a marriage or a family situation, typically the male's primary role is to, like, again, provide and protect for the household. So that means go out into the world, go work, go earn some money, and go politic, go make sure the people affairs is right when it comes to politics. And I'm gonna hold down the woman. I'm gonna hold down the house, make the house a home. I'm gonna take care of everything around the house, and I'm gonna hold down the kids. So yeah, that is a partnership.
Yeah.
And yes, that doesn't mean that the man solely doesn't do anything in the house and the woman doesn't do anything outside the house. But we have established that those are those two individuals' primary roles. But yes, when the man comes home, and yeah, I would hope that he would want to hang out with his kids. I would hope that he would want to help with the homework. I would hope that he would want to, contribute to the household in regards to cleaning up after himself, cleaning up after the kids, help looking out for his woman and cleaning up after her when need be. But no, his primary role is not to be your support in that regards. Just like your primary role as the woman ain't to be the breadwinner and the provider and the protector in that regard. Not to say that you can't contribute to that stuff, but that's just not your primary role. So you're not going to hear men talking about that like she's talking about this.
Yeah, because she says with apparently no clue that they are the ones who need to step up. We're not arguing that. Like that's not in debate. Like one stepping up and the other one not stepping up. It's
Right.
like with me stepping up to do, I guess the position we're coming from, as a man steps up, there's things that still need to be handled on the other side of the partnership. You know what I'm saying? You can't have your man. You can't have a man that steps up, but you don't fulfill the duties that you need to cultivate the environment for him. As he's stepping up, as he's doing everything he needs to do to make sure that you're good, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year, making sure that you're have all the amenities of life that you like, getting your hair done, your nails done, you're able to go shopping and go
Right.
buy the stuff that you want, this stuff, you're able to buy gifts for your family and things like that, and all that stuff, you're able to pay for the trips for the kids, you're able to pay for the insurance for the kids, the car note, the car insurance,
Right.
the mortgage, the health care, you know, we're stepping up and willing to step into, the average man is willing to do that. To be a man, we know that it is to do that.
Right.
But I think the disconnect is coming, that the responsibility or the flip side to that for the wife, the women have somehow categorized it as something that's degrading.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Which is not, it's not degrading,
Right.
because with that sentiment implied, we could say you pimping us.
Facts.
You know,
100%.
we could be degraded in that way.
Yeah.
Like you're using me.
Yeah.
I'm just a workhorse.
Yep.
But we don't take that standpoint because we understand we're men and that's what we do.
We understand the bigger
provide,
picture, right?
we protect. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, like I said before, and that role they have is very essential. That role that y'all have and what men are asking is what makes that man go out there and be the best that he can be. The role that you have is what makes that child thrive to be the best that they can be.
Right.
And when that role and those and that passion is taken from that, the man is left unloved, unsupported, and the children are left unguided and unnurtured.
Yep.
So that's a loss for the whole unit. And you should just sit there and keep getting all the benefits, not having to pay for nothing, and
Right.
being pampered. It like, come on, like we got to make this shit, work.
We got to make it
together.
make sense.
It's like a vision that just came into my mind. A fire truck. There's someone driving a fire truck. But that person that drives the truck in the back, there's two drivers on the fire truck.
Exactly.
And the one that's driving in the front can't drive it without the one that's driving and steering.
They both
and
play an
guiding the
important
back.
role.
Yes, guiding that truck to get to where it need and make these sharp turns and whatever the case may be. One driver is not more important than the other, and one can't do it without the other.
Even though they both driving, but they still got two different responsibilities.
Yep, and do in two different places.
Yep.
And,
but they still both driving.
Yep.
So that's parenting is the same way. Y'all both driving, y'all just got two different responsibilities. So one don't need to be looking at the other thinking that they doing more than the other because the other ain't doing what they doing. It's like y'all both doing what needs to be done to move y'all ship forward.
And both sides contribute to the other. Like there's days, I might be off this weekend. Of course, I'm gonna go out there cut the grass. I'm gonna make sure the car is washed and the oil is changed, and I'm gonna go out there and make sure the grill is clean. I'm gonna get the grill going, or whatever the case may be. If the kids wanna get on the jumper or get in the swimming pool, I'm gonna go out there and pull that out. And if they get a new bicycle, I'm gonna go ahead and build the bike and go ahead. If the brakes are squeaking on your car, I'm
take you to the Jiffy Lube or wherever I go to get it right.
I'm going out there and put these brakes on your car, and
or
change,
even that,
you know what I mean, or changing the tire.
Some of us is handy like
whatever the case may be. I'm going to do that. I'm men are never shying away, and some men are. We're not. There are some people that are just assholes. On both sides of the fence, male and female. But ideally, the man is not shying away from his responsibilities and role.
I agree.
As a man, like, we understand those things need to be done. It's just the women just have got this, connotation where their input is, oh, that's less than, that's subservient, you're controlling. I was like, no, that's what makes the house a home, my baby. That's what's gonna make me come home.
Well, hey, structure,
and that's what I could relax in. Safety.
So I was about to say, remember, we
Stability.
all desire security,
Right.
I want the consistency of knowing my house is a home.
A meal, whatever the case. And then when you look at what the meal is to the man, when you understand what it is to that man, when you understand what it is for your man to come home to a clean household, when you understand when the man can open up his drawer and have clean underwear, clean socks and stuff there, all in his right position. When you understand the effect that has on the man and how a man really values that, and it helps them function at a higher level, then I don't think women will be so apprehensive. Now, we're not talking about a man that don't appreciate it, a man that ain't shit, the man that's sitting on the couch playing Xbox or PS5 all
We're not
day
talking
long,
about slackers,
smoking
lames,
weed,
losers, non-productive.
Every other day you find that there's another bitch on his phone. He texting. We're not condoning,
talking about those guys.
We're not condoning that behavior. We're talking about respectable,
responsible,
productive men. That are that care about their families and their legacies and want to thrive. So,
good stuff. Sorry, that ended for this week's comment section. Be tuned in next week, and also remember, if you leave a comment on any of our socials, you will get your response here on the show. So tune in.
We might have to do an episode with all responses.
Because
I see the responses are building up.
Yeah.
Cool.
You can go answer, yeah. You can cut that last part out when he said we should do.
This has been another exciting and exhilarating episode of the Ripple Effect Podcast. And until the next time, keep thinking, keep diving, and keep making ripples. I'm Quattro.
I'm Diesel.
And we holla.
Peace.